Hey everyone, I'm Derica, the founder of Saving Lives Together, a nonprofit company promoting general wellness and specifically my passion, suicide prevention through mental health. I first want to say thank you for those who have subscribed, shared, and follow. And for those that are listening in, I hope that you follow, subscribe, and share. Today we have a special guest, my mentor and business owner. We're going to talk about leadership and wellness. Combine it all together, leadership, wellness. Hi, Dan. Thank you so much for joining me.
My pleasure. My pleasure, Derica.
Will you tell us about your background and why you chose this professional path for yourself?
Yeah, sure. Probably the baseline for this professional path is I'm an entrepreneur. I grew up in a very entrepreneurial household. My brothers and sisters all own their own business or have at one point or another. There's 5 of us, and very independent. We grew up very independent, and so that you don't get it. When I was younger, I would say, and I've learned a lot, and like how to get along with others. So,
okay.
But my background history, I grew up in the San Francisco Bay Area, and I wasn't sure what I wanted to do out of high school. And in my mind at that time, instead of wasting money on college, which is I would never promote that. College is great. But
Say it again. You're not promoting.
I'm
Don't go to college.
That. College is really good. Like usually my kids are about to get into that age range, and I've been researching, and a lot of the negatives around college are about money. And so I tell my kids, like, don't be concerned about the money thing, because there's an opportunity to learn. Anyhow, I forego college and went to the service. I was in the Air Force. Yeah. And then I did my 4 years. It was great learning experience. I learned incredible amounts of leadership examples. I saw hundreds and hundreds of different types of leadership and examples of that, and that has served me just in an insane amount. Also learned, I was an aircraft mechanic, so I learned about systems and processes. And so that was huge. Out of the service, I was going to be a chiropractor. I come from a family of chiropractors, grandfather, great-grandfather, father, uncle, great-uncle. And it just wasn't a passion for me. Entrepreneurship really was, and I ended up starting a small business, and then that didn't do well, and got introduced to this industry that I'm in now. Yeah.
And what industry is that?
Yeah, we help attorneys get evidence for their cases. So in California, in law, there's jurisdictions in California. The jurisdiction of California is where we stay and play, and it's in work injuries. So work injury attorneys call us to obtain the medical evidence, mostly medical evidence, so that they can use that to build up their cases.
Very cool.
I know, and I think this is still very true, people that want to work are going to find a place to land to work. Like I don't have any pride to say that it would at any point in my life that I would go be a manager at a fast food restaurant or something like that.
Right.
So no fear of that. I have my pride doesn't disallow me from doing hard work, from doing dirty work.
Yeah.
So failure is like not even close to an option. There could have been a point where things fell apart, where I suppose I got into, I was in at many points a big amount of debt, like a devastating, oppressive amount of debt. Like an oppressive amount of debt.
One more time, what kind of debt?
The kind that keeps you from sleeping, the kind that causes you to lose all shame, where you ask people that you know to, I hate to admit this, but it's just true. I got a payday loan basically from my brother at one point. It's awful. I hate borrowing from family. That's like the worst pressure ever.
It's humbling, yeah.
But borrowing from a bank, borrowing from a bank, I'm like, come possess, you want to take my car? Okay, fine. That'll take a few months though. I'll find a way in a few months. In a few months, I'm going to find a way.
Yeah.
I'm going to make some hard decisions and figure that out.
Do you think some of that mindset came from your Air Force background? Was it Air Force, Navy, Army?
Air Force.
Okay. Yeah. Ooh, look at me go.
Yeah, that was a challenging time in my life. Physically, not so much.
But just the mindset of like, I can't fail. Do you feel like that came from part of that background maybe?
I bet to some degree. I go back to when I was young. We had very, very little growing up. My father was supporting a family of 7 and school full time during the week. And then he worked evenings and he worked all weekend, and he was a very good carpenter. So he got paid very well, but to support a family of 7, basically working weekends, he worked really, really hard, but we had nothing. I had a set of clothes, maybe a couple pairs of pants, maybe a few shirts,
the necessities,
a sweatshirt, a jacket, most of the time, and food was hard. We lived in a 3-bedroom. Had to have been less than 1,500 square feet. It was probably 1,400 square foot house with linoleum floors and a tar roof. And we'd turn on the heat in the morning, just to kind of shake off the cool. And we would take turns. I mean, this is a fun story my brothers like to tell, but we had one of those wall heaters. That's what we had. And there's 5 of us, so we'd rotate around. We'd take turns and turn our bodies, and we'd get warm in the morning, get ready for school and head out. So it's just like I said, I'm not afraid of dirty work, hard work. And I think that there's always work available for people that want to work.
I love that. That was good. Way to dive in.
Yeah, tough question, but not tough for me. I'm very focused on plan A.
Yeah, so
I think
love that
if you focus on plan B,
then there's a plan B.
Yeah, there's that escape route. Okay, what's my escape route?
Yeah,
it's not an option.
I love that.
Not an option. There's setbacks. There's setbacks all the time.
Right.
But those are setbacks. You learn from them. Even if you call them failures, they're learning opportunities.
I would agree with
100%.
that. I agree with that. So you said something that stuck out is failure wasn't an option. So what goal do you see your company going in right now, in the direction that you want to lead it in?
Well, I want to lead a company that does things the right way. I think my goals are, how do I say it? My goals are less specific and more theme-based. I want a healthy work environment for my employees. That's a goal that I have. I want a stable a stable financial situation for my employees, so that they don't have to concern themselves about stability when they come to work. So that's a goal. I'm a little less goal oriented, I think, than it's hard to say. I don't think about things in terms of like finish lines, because that finish line just always changes. Do we have a healthy work environment? All right, we've accomplished that goal. Does that mean it's over?
No.
Not even close.
Yeah.
You have to maintain that healthy work environment. It has to be sustaining. So my goal, well, this maybe is a little bit more specific. My goals are to establish systems and establish culture that sustains, for example, a healthy work environment, you know?
I love that. So because you are the chief executive officer, when did you first experience your first burnout? Like, when did it become a real thing of like CEO burnout? I just got mic drops all day.
You can tell when I'm thinking, can't you? You know me well enough. Burnout has come.
Like, do you know an example for you specifically of like where you're like, I'm experiencing burnout?
Yeah, burnout for me has come in a couple of forms. There's been some problems, some major problems for our business to solve, like big problems. We're paid by insurance companies, and they don't hire us to do the work that we provide. We're hired by basically the adversaries of the insurance company, and then the insurance company that was responsible to pay for our invoices. That type of arrangement has caused us to not get paid in lots of cases.
Yeah.
And or delayed payments, denied payments, to the point where a change or potential change in our market caused us to be in a tailspin of how do we fix this from a root perspective. And what we wanted to solve was, how do we change the behavior of an industry? It's a big problem to solve. Big problem to solve. There's tactical elements to it, but then there's strategic elements and big picture elements to that problem. And the path to doing that, you hit a lot of roadblocks. You can lose faith.
Did you?
At times, yeah, I think everybody kind of loses faith at times, but the burnout comes in those setbacks. The burnout comes with, I'm supposed to have all the answers, and I don't.
Yeah, right.
And you feel defeated. That causes burnout for me.
So when you experienced that, like, what were some things that you turned to? So do you have a support system? What does it look like for you to like take a step back and really kind of focus on your mental health, physical health, just because that kind of all goes down when you go down, right?
I think relationships are just absolutely critical in that. This is professional relationships, personal relationships. The professional side, like, I would ask anybody and everybody that I could find, hey, I have this problem. What do you think? How would you solve it? How could you help me? So having those relationships to fall back on, to examine whether you're approaching it the right way. Is there actually a solution? A lot of times people, that's their answer. I mean, I don't know. I can't help you. I don't feel like there is a solution. And I guess I have also a pretty deep resolve and a deep perseverance to say that that's not good enough.
Who knew?
You just can't give up.
Yeah.
You can't give up. Giving up is plan B. And so it's just pursue. So having those relationships to at least keep reaching out, don't stop reaching out. A never-ending pursuit of answers, for resolution.
But you would say even for burnout, keep reaching out, or like, because if you're burnout, would you typically step back for a second and examine all of that?
It's usually not my default.
Okay. We're getting somewhere.
Meaning I do step back. I think that you're right. You're right. Like stepping back is part of it.
Yeah. It's not for everyone.
But that stepping back isn't disconnecting from the problem at all.
Right.
That's not my methodology. There's been times where I've had to go disconnect. Very few and far between, though. I'm almost always, when there is burnout and when there is issues, I just lean in. And that's kind of some tips I give to my my leadership and anybody that'll listen. When things are challenging, when things are tough, when things are when you're experiencing that, lean in, and for me, that pursuit is relief. It's not staying still. It's not
keeping it
wallowing in that burnout, in that negative situation, but always looking for the next positive step. There's always something positive that you can do. I mean, there's always something positive you can do about your situation. I've had burnout where, well, I'd say that I explained that one situation where we had our accounts receivable being paid was difficult. Debt, operating within debt is a problem.
So would you say, is there, and I may not say this correctly, what if there was there one decision that you made that you wish you wouldn't have made for this company?
One decision?
Yeah. We're just going to go into one for our following and for our friends.
Yeah, there was a point where our industry is very unique, and there's very few technological solutions that work for our workflow, the workflow of our industry. There's very few, like non-professional, let me say that. Most of them are cobbled together from several pieces of software that allow us to do our work. I wanted to build, when I started the company, I started off with custom software development. Everything was started. Everything was started from scratch, and I designed our entire workflow system.
Oh, okay.
Within one bit of custom software. Okay, these were guys I knew from high school. I said, "Hey, I need some software. Would you help me build it?" They helped me build it, and then fast forward a few years later, and we got into a situation with an original contract that wasn't turning out favorable, and we decided to explore other options. The regret, the mistake, the thing that I did wrong was I allowed my pride to.
Whoa.
I know. I allowed my pride to. I was irritated about the current contract situation. I was mad about that, and I was like, I'm just moving on. So that was a feeling I felt bad about, or I didn't like what was happening.
All right.
And because of that situation, we moved software. We moved away from our founding software and moved to something that was subpar. The mistake, in addition to that pride was this piece of software, this new piece of software. I didn't personally vet it. I didn't personally look at every detail of this software.
Mm-hmm.
And it has cost me countless hours and countless dollars.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm in the millions. I'm making that decision.
Wow.
You ask about kind of this process of burnout,
Mm-hmm.
and I talked about that situation with not being paid with the insurance companies, and it took me a minute, but you talk about getting to a point, I eventually had to give it up to God, and he had to force me to my knees where I had to, he called me to call out to him. You know, it was a time where nothing else was available to me that I could see except to hit my knees and ask him for help. That was kind of a turning point for me.
That's huge.
Yeah, in how to deal with burnout.
Mm-hmm.
You know, now it's now something that I had to learn from that situation, but now as part of how I deal with burnout is I call to him and I ask him for help. You know, I have to.
I love that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna ask you this, but I know the answer. But just for our following,
Mm-hmm.
To work in your company, you don't have to be Christian or a believer, right?
Of course not.
Okay,
We
just want to make sure. You know what I mean? We want to make sure that we're letting people know we're open for everyone and all things, right?
Yeah, I think that's so.
That's just the way you handle it.
Yeah, 100%. I grew up very secular. I grew up without God in my life, and so I have a deep empathy for both non-believers and believers, and just love. Like I love them all. I love them all. I love all of you, even you, all of you people that I don't know. I love you all. And yeah, like if if I'm an inspiration, great. That's fantastic. If I'm not, and people are here just to get a paycheck, that's fine too.
Yeah.
Like, please, like I'm glad you're here. Glad you're here. We love you all.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. What are the most important attributes that make up a successful leader in your eyes today?
I think empathy is critical. Empathy is just absolutely critical. I think that if you are empathetic to people, you start to understand what they need. And people need a paycheck. They wouldn't be here from a very foundational perspective if they didn't need a paycheck. I say this to my employees, and it's kind of, you know, I think it can be taken the wrong way, but I said, if I wasn't paying you, you wouldn't be here. Mm-hmm. And they're like, wait, I guess I wouldn't. And it's true. But so that the way that I think about successful leadership is understanding who you're serving, understanding who they are and what do they need. I'm also serving my clients. My clients also have needs, and understanding them and their needs is super critical. If we're talking about a successful leader, empathy, like really, really spend an insane amount of time trying to understand the people in your business, both your clients and your employees.
And your mentees.
And your mentees. There's other things, you know, I think the successful execution on delivering those needs, that's a whole ball of wax. Getting things done, delivering again on the needs of those folks that you're serving. Gosh, that's a big topic.
That is a big topic.
You know, got to have a vision. You have to lead people to something. People are not only wanting the foundation of a paycheck, but they also want to be inspired and led to something. So being very clear and articulate about what you're leading folks to. What is that? What is that thing that they're working towards? Okay, I'm getting a paycheck. I'm pushing this button, but why am I pushing this button?
Yeah.
Pretty important that you tell them why they're pushing the button, and why your clients too, why they should buy from you. So you have to articulate that very clearly. Huge thing for leadership, I think, is the empathy, but also then clear articulation of a vision, of a mission, how we work together, how we get things done. Mm-hmm. And there's a lot there. But start with empathy.
I don't know, because I feel like, being my mentor, I think the biggest thing that you've pushed on, I think you've always had empathy, but I think you've pushed on vision. If there was no vision, you were like, scratch everything else, forget everything else. We're going back to this. What's the vision, Derek?
Yeah. Like people want, from a very core perspective, people are making step and striding towards something. Yeah. Give them that something from a leader perspective, or help them develop that something from a leadership perspective. Mm-hmm. For you and working with you, you're right. We focus so heavily on what's the vision. Mm-hmm. It's the guiding light. It's the North Star. It's what you work towards every day. It's what gets you up in the morning, right?
Right.
It's important. It's critical. It's critical because you're gonna. There's so many roadblocks and so many things that come into your sphere are gonna try to derail you from that. We've talked about this before.
Yes.
It's like,
I think we've been there before.
What is your core business? What is the vision?
Yeah.
Because I don't know. For your business, I'll just use a dumb example, so forgive me for this, but
no, totally fine.
If your business is helping others with mental health, mm-hmm. how is a t-shirt focusing on that? And there could be an answer that I'm not saying it's the wrong answer, but you should ask that question. I want t-shirts for all my people, but why? Does it feed to that vision? Yeah. And if it doesn't, you should be, if you're really clear on your vision, those things will show themselves up, or will show up, and you can make a clear decision to say no or yes. So vision is critical. Yeah.
Or just because they're cool.
Cool is okay. Cool is okay. Cool is marketing.
Yeah, there you go.
You get people's attention. Like if I have, people, if I'm walking around town in my Hunter orange, safety orange shirt, people, if my business was focused on mental health, which it's not, but I'm trying to, attract employees. So if somebody asked me about my shirt, oh yeah, I work here and
it's all right.
I'm trying to promote mental health.
You could do both. We're here to talk about you and your business, so I see why you're doing it. Great marketing.
No, not the idea. My apologies.
No, seriously, don't be.
I know you.
I know you
don't
fine.
care, but I care. Okay.
Thank you so much, Dan, for sharing your heart on leadership wellness. I really appreciate you being here.
Yeah, you're welcome. It's been my pleasure.
Once again, thank you guys so much for joining us with Dan. If you haven't yet, please subscribe, like, and share this post, this video. And I am your wellness coach, Derica Elwood.